Hi, welcome to my channel. How are you doing today? From whichever part of the world you could be watching this video from, I hope you are doing okay. So in this video, I'll be talking about 3 practical ways you can fight porn addiction or masturbation. Any of these addictions, if you have any of this addiction and you're actually asking, how do I fight, or how do I fight this urge that usually comes so strong that I cannot stop indulging myself into this activity. So my name is Dr. Luben. I make videos based on health, relationship. I create a public awareness on some of the diseases and issues that people actually worry about and should be careful about. So if you're watching this video, it means you actually want to make a positive change in your life. You actually want to remove yourself from this activity that you're indulging. And I'm not judging anybody. If you happen to be the type of person that masturbates or is so addicted to porn, you're not the only person. You've never been the only person that's addicted to that, but you can fight that. So if you stay tuned and watch this video to the ending, I promise you're going to have practical ways you can help yourself to fight porn addiction or masturbation. So let's go straight into the video without wasting any of our time. So, you could ask yourself, why am I so much addicted to this porn or masturbation? Now, the reason being that, remember, you did not start masturbation or watching porn in one day. It started from something, maybe a picture, for instance, and then over time, the picture could not just satisfy your needs or your fantasy. And then you went from picture to videos. Then the videos at the point could not also satisfy your fantasy. And then you went from videos to masturbation. And it was just once, and then you promised yourself, I'm never going to do this again. And then the next day, you felt like doing it and you did it again. The third day, you were like, I'll do this once. This is the last time I'm going to do this and I will never do this again. Well, you did that, it worked for you for a couple of days. And then what happened? Next week, the other week, you started doing it again. Why? This is a very essential neurotransmitter in the brain known as dopamine. I know most of you must have heard of this neurotransmitter. It's very essential. Why do they lay emphasis, or why do you always lay emphasis on this dopamine? Because dopamine happens to be a pleasure type of neurotransmitter. So it's the kind of neurotransmitter that causes someone to be addicted to something. Because whenever the dopamine increases, it tells the person, relaxes the brain, it makes the brain happy. It kind of gives the brain a sensation of satisfaction. So anything you do that increases your dopamine level in your brain automatically is going to make you addicted to that thing. In the sense that if you don't do that thing, you are never going to feel okay until you do that. The same people that are addicted to alcohol, for instance, is the same thing. So they are addicted because the dopamine level keep increasing. So every time they indulge in that act, the dopamine secretion increases and they feel good. So it's the same thing. So when it keeps increasing, that's when the threshold keep increasing. So remember that from picture now it has gone to video. Now because your dopamine has increased, little of it cannot make you happy. You need more of it. And what can do that? Videos. So what is the first thing you need to do? Now some people might have different, you can rearrange it in any particular order that you want. Now this is going to be uncomfortable for a lot of people, but it's a practical way. So stay with me. If you have pepper, for instance, like I said, stay with me. Don't panic. If you have pepper or you have rub, for instance, like if you are staying in Nigeria, if you have aboniken, people who are from Nigeria don't understand what I mean. If you have aboniken, that or rub, or if you have anything that is burning sensation, what do? Anytime you have the urge, every single time you have the urge to masturbate or to watch porn, what you do is rub that particular aboniken or pepper, for instance. You use pepper and then rub it on your genitalia. What do I mean? Your private partner, rub it there. Yes, I know some people will be like, that's very, why would you say that? Wait, don't panic. The reason why you are doing that is because, remember, your brain has registered that the only thing that is going to make it happy is if you watch porn or you masturbate. Now, because that pepper is going to give you a very painful feeling, and it might be painful, it might not be painful to some, but it's going to give you a burning sensation. That's why I said I did not say use knife to know. I didn't say any of that. The reason why I'm saying pepper is because it can be controlled, right? So every single time, if you do this 2, 3, 4, 5, So if you do this 3 to 4, 5 times, what happens is this: every single time your brain thinks or have that urge, what is going to translate in your brain is a burning sensation in your genitalia or your private part. Now, it's not going to be that easy. It's not going to happen in just one day. You cannot do it one day and stop and then think it will go. No, it has to be consistently. So consistent, every single time you have that urge, you rub that pepper there. Now it's like you are punishing yourself, but your brain, you are training your brain, and then little by little your brain will begin to adapt. So any single time those synapses or neurons try to make you to think about having that urge, it will go by itself to bounce back, because now you've learned how to control your body. Your brain is now saying, anytime I have this feeling, this is what usually comes. It's a punishment instead of reward. Instead of rewarding your brain for thinking about that, you're punishing it. So over time your brain will stop, because nobody likes punishment. Nobody likes pain. Even the brain itself does not like pain. Remember, when this place is feeling hot, it's your brain that is interpreting. So your brain is actually hot too. So nobody likes punishment, everybody loves reward. So when you don't reward your brain anymore, what happens? It will stop that activity. The second one, and this is also very important, is get a life. I would have said this first, but most people, or a lot of people who are watching this video, must have heard of this before. When I say get a life, I'm not actually saying you should overnight become someone that has a very busy career, that you are overly busy. What I mean is, get a life is get something that you enjoy doing apart from watching porn or apart from masturbation. Ask yourself this: why is it that you don't like it? Because if it is something that was good, you actually won't be ashamed of it. Like there has never been anybody that will come out publicly and be proud that they're a chronic masturbator or a porn viewer. I mean, some people might do that, but they get shamed for it. Like nobody feels it's not glorified. Why? Because deep inside you, you know this is too easy. There's no glory to things that come easy. So you could sit in your house and access this porn and then, jerk off in your hands, but you know that there's no glory to it and there's no good feeling about it. So it's not actually going to give you any good form of reward in your brain. So you actually want to stop. So when you get a life, something, a hobby or something you do that makes you happy, porn might actually be the least thing you think of, or masturbation might be the least thing you think of. So getting a life, you could have a career, you could have something that you do on your leisure time that makes you happy apart from porn. And this is what happens. When you do something like a hobby that makes you happy consistently, it will replace the pornography part of your brain. So the dopamine level that is increased will actually be for your hobby, something that you love doing. Choose something. You could tell within yourself there's something that you love doing. Just stick to it and get a life. The third one is where I actually come in. So you've tried the first one, you tried the second one, it didn't work. None of these things work. You are still addicted to it. You tried using the first tip I mentioned. I'm not sure if anybody tried that very consistently, it did not work. But let's just assume human beings are different, we have different physiological variations. So you tried all of this, it did not work. That's when you have to approach the medical perspective, or that's when the pharmacological intervention might come in. Because sometimes it could be that the dopamine level have increased to a certain degree that mere practical ways or habits might not be able to detoxify your brain. So you might need additional pharmacological intervention that will help you. That's when you can actually approach a medical professional, or you can go to a psychologist. Well, I don't actually think most psychologists have a particular cure or do a lot more to correct that when it comes to addiction, because remember, addiction comes with withdrawal syndrome. So if you're addicted to something and one day you choose to stop, you're going to face withdrawal syndrome, and withdrawal syndrome is what throws a lot of people back into that addiction, because you call it relapse. So because they stop doing it, the withdrawal syndrome, the things they face through that process of withdrawal syndrome kind of takes them back to that addiction. So if you actually happen to experience that withdrawal syndrome, it might be rough for you, it might be tough. Maybe all these tips might not work for you. That's when you approach the medical field, where they could actually provide a pharmacological intervention for you. And I think this will do. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. I will leave my email in the description. You can send me a private message to my email if you want us to talk privately. If you have any question you want to ask me publicly, you can leave that in the comment section. Also, if you enjoyed the video, you can share it across your friends, your relatives, anybody that you know who might find this interesting. You can support me by subscribing to the channel. Thank you so much. See you in another video.